You ever look in the mirror and feel like the reflection's laughing at you? Not mocking you, just knowing something you don't. Like it already sees what you're about to turn into, but it's not ready to tell you yet. People walk around pretending they know who they are, when in truth, they're still under construction. Every scar, every betrayal, every loss is just another piece being added to the version you haven't met yet. Funny, isn't it? How pain becomes the architect of transformation. You think you're breaking, but really you're being redesigned. And somewhere above all the noise, a quiet confirmation's been stamped. It's already decided who you'll become. Transformation doesn't start with light, it starts with chaos. It begins when everything you thought was solid starts to crumble, when the things you trusted start to slip through your fingers. People think change is a beautiful process, full of clarity and motivation, but it's not. It's violent. It's messy. It's the tearing apart of everything false, so something real can finally breathe. You can't build the new you while you're still clinging to the old one. The old version of you has to die first, piece by piece, memory by memory, illusion by illusion. And that death never feels graceful. It feels like loss. It feels like pain. But pain isn't the enemy here. It's the alarm clock waking you up from the dream you were never supposed to stay in. You ever notice how people say they want to change? But what they really mean is they want to stay the same, just a little more comfortable. They want transformation without the fire. But that's not how it works. You don't grow from comfort. You grow when you're stripped down, when the universe forces you to confront what you've been hiding. That's when the cracks start showing. That's when the real work begins. Because transformation doesn't ask for permission. It demands surrender. And surrender doesn't mean weakness. It means letting go of control long enough to allow something greater to shape you. You've probably felt it before. That strange tension between who you are and who you're becoming. It's uncomfortable, like wearing clothes that no longer fit, but still pretending they do. You keep trying to squeeze back into old patterns, old habits, old versions of yourself, because they feel safe. But the longer you do, the heavier it gets. It starts suffocating you. That's your signal. That's how you know change isn't coming. It's already here, waiting for you to stop resisting. The universe doesn't care about your comfort zone. It cares about your evolution. And evolution never feels peaceful. It feels like falling apart. People don't realize that destruction and creation are twins. You can't have one without the other. Something has to break for something new to form. When your life starts collapsing, when the people you trusted start disappearing, when the path you were walking suddenly disappears under your feet, that's not the end. It's the beginning. That's the part where you're being stripped of everything temporary, so the permanent can finally take its place. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. But preparation hurts. It always does. The most dangerous illusion people fall for is believing that transformation is optional. It's not. The world will drag you through change, whether you're ready or not. The only choice you have is whether to fight it or flow with it. The ones who fight spend their lives in circles, breaking the same way over and over again. The ones who flow, they rise. Not because it's easy, but because they understand something most don't. Every collapse is an invitation to rebuild stronger, colder, clearer. You see, the destruction isn't there to hurt you. It's there to show you what's real. It strips away the masks, the fake relationships, the fragile confidence you built around other people's approval. It shows you who's really with you and who was only around for the comfort of your old self. When the dust settles, you'll realize most of them were never meant to stay. They were only chapters, not the whole book. And that's fine, because the new version of you, the one rising from the ashes, won't need them. Transformation isn't about adding more. It's about removing everything that doesn't belong. Every lie you told yourself, every limit you believed, every fear you carried like it was truth, all of it has to go. The person you're meant to become can't carry the weight of who you used to be. The process feels cruel, but it's divine in design. It takes away what you thought you needed, so you can finally see what you actually do. And somewhere in the middle of all the chaos, something clicks. You start realizing that nothing's actually falling apart. It's falling into place. You see the purpose behind the pain, the beauty in the breakdown. You stop begging for things to go back to how they were, because you finally understand. They were never supposed to stay that way. The universe isn't destroying you, it's refining you. Fire doesn't destroy gold. It removes the impurities. Most people will never make it through the fire. They'll quit halfway. They'll mistake discomfort for danger and run back to the life they were trying to escape. But those who stay in the flames long enough, they come out unrecognizable, stronger, wiser, untouchable. The kind of people who don't need to tell their story, because their presence says it all. Transformation doesn't just change how you live. It changes how the world reacts to you. Because when you've been through the fire and survived, the world can feel it. It sees it in your eyes, in your silence, in your calm. You don't need to prove who you are anymore. You've already been rebuilt. The version of you that's coming will terrify the one you are now. Not because it's evil, not because it's cruel, but because it's powerful in ways you can't yet understand. Power has a strange price. It asks you to shade everything weak inside you. Every excuse, every fear, every false layer of identity you've built just to survive. That version of you waiting ahead doesn't play small. It doesn't beg for validation. It doesn't need to be liked. It moves differently. It sees differently. It breathes differently. And that's what scares you. The idea that someday soon, you won't even recognize yourself. Change isn't supposed to feel comfortable. It's supposed to feel like the ground beneath your feet is shifting, like you're standing in a body that no longer fits. You start to see cracks in your own reflection. You start hearing thoughts that don't sound like your own. stronger, colder, clearer. That's the future version of you, whispering back through time, reminding you what's coming. You don't believe it yet, because you're still attached to this weaker shell. But deep down, you know it's true. You can feel it. The old you is dying, and the new one is waiting to take its place. Most people will never meet that version of themselves. Will keep running from the mirror, clinging to their comfort, protecting the parts of them that were built out of fear. They'll stay loyal to their limitations because it's easier than confronting their potential. But you can't hold both, the comfort of now and the power of what's next. You'll either evolve or dissolve. You'll either step into who you're becoming or stay trapped in who you were. The choice is brutal because it demands a sacrifice. You have to let go of the identity that kept you safe. Growth always starts with loss. You'll lose people who once felt permanent. You'll outgrow conversations that used to keep you entertained. You'll wake up one day and realize that the things you prayed for no longer fit the person you're becoming. That's when it gets hard, because nobody warns you that becoming stronger also means becoming lonelier. The air gets thinner at higher altitudes, but that's where the view is worth it. That version of you that's coming, it doesn't need a crowd. It doesn't need applause. It walks alone, but never lost. It walks in purpose. It's strange how the same things that used to break you eventually become your fuel. The pain that once made you crumble starts to sharpen you. The rejections, the betrayals, the moments you thought you'd never recover from, they all become ammunition. The stronger version of you doesn't avoid pain anymore. It studies it. It learns from it. It uses it. Because pain reveals what's real. It strips away pretense and exposes truth. That's the process of transformation. Turning wounds into weapons, scars into strength, chaos into clarity. The you that's coming won't waste energy explaining itself. It won't chase people who misunderstand it. It won't try to fix what's not meant to be repaired. Because this version doesn't live in reaction. It moves with intention. It doesn't beg for peace. It creates it. It doesn't ask for respect. It commands it. You'll know you've met that version when your silence becomes louder than your words. When your presence alone shifts the energy in the room. You won't need to prove anything. You'll have become the proof. It's funny how fear disguises itself as logic. You'll start hearing that voice in your head. The one that tells you to slow down, to play it safe, to wait for the right time. That's not caution. That's your old self begging to survive. It knows it's about to be replaced, so it tries to convince you to stop growing. But you can't listen. Because if you pause now, you'll stay stuck in the same loop forever. Growth doesn't come when it's convenient. It comes when it's necessary. You'll know you're close to transformation when your comfort starts screaming louder than your ambition. That's when you push harder, this new version of you. It won't be polite. It won't shrink to make others comfortable. It won't apologize for choosing peace over people. It will move like someone who has seen too much to ever settle again. People will say you've changed, and they'll be right. Because you'll stop laughing at things that aren't funny. You'll stop entertaining energy that doesn't align. You'll stop explaining your vision to people who are blind. That's the cost of becoming real. You lose everything fake. You'll start noticing how the world reacts differently to you. Opportunities will start appearing not because the world changed, but because you did. Energy attracts its mirror. And once you rise, everything that matches your old vibration will fall away. That's the transition, the chaos before the alignment. The stronger version of you isn't coming to fit in. It's coming to take over. It's coming to sit at the table you once begged to be invited to and realize you were meant to build your own. The transformation is already happening. You can feel it every time you doubt yourself, every time you feel the pull to rise, every time you catch a glimpse of what you could be. That tension you feel, it's the space between who you are and who you're destined to become. It's uncomfortable because it's real. The weaker version of you can't survive what's coming. And that's exactly the point. You're not supposed to. Something far more dangerous is taking your place. You ever notice how people pray for change? But the second life starts shaking, they scream that it's falling apart. That's the trick. Change never arrives wrapped in comfort. It comes dressed like disaster. You ask for strength, and life hands you struggle. You ask for clarity, and it blinds you with confusion. You ask for purpose, and it tears apart everything meaningless in your life until all that's left is what truly matters. It's cruel, isn't it? That's how it's supposed to be. Growth doesn't happen in calm waters. It happens when you're drowning, clawing your way to the surface, realizing no one's coming to save you this time. The real transformation begins when you stop blaming the storm and start learning how to move through it. Because the truth is, life doesn't punish you. It exposes you. It reveals every weakness you tried to hide under fake smiles and borrowed confidence. It shows you who you really are when nobody's watching. That's when the mask slips. And when it does, you'll see just how much of your life was built to impress people who wouldn't even care if you disappeared tomorrow. Pain is life's way of burning off the unnecessary. And the fire always comes before the rebirth. It's funny how when you start to change, people around you panic. They liked you better when you were predictable, when your dreams were small, when your eyes didn't burn with ambition. Because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your hunger exposes their comfort. They'll call you selfish, arrogant, ungrateful. Anything to pull you back into the box they built for you. But you can't shrink to fit where you no longer belong. You'll suffocate if you try. Sometimes survival means walking away from everything familiar, even if it means walking alone. You'll start noticing that silence becomes your best friend. When you're growing, you talk less, because words start to feel small compared to what you're becoming. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop sharing your plans with those who who secretly hope you fail. You stop seeking approval because you finally realize no one actually knows what they're doing either. Everyone's pretending, and the ones who seem sure of themselves, they're just better actors. The only voice that matters is the one inside you, the one you've been drowning out with noise and fear. There will be nights when everything feels pointless, when you'll look around and wonder if any of this effort is even worth it. When you'll want to go back to the easier version of yourself, the one who didn't care as much, who didn't feel this deeply. But that's the trap, the illusion of peace before purpose. You can't go back once you've seen your potential. It haunts you. It whispers in your sleep. It shows up in every moment of regret, every wasted day, every excuse. That voice doesn't go away until you become what it's been trying to make you see. You'll notice the small shifts first. The things that used to bother you will start to feel irrelevant. The people who used to intimidate you will suddenly look small. You'll move slower, speak clearer, think sharper. You'll stop reacting and start responding. You'll stop chasing and start attracting. That's how you'll know you're changing. Not because life gets easier, but because you stop letting it control you. Chaos will still come, but you'll stop flinching. You'll start to understand that it was never about controlling the storm. It was about becoming the storm. The old version of you will fight back. It will whisper that you're not ready, that you're risking too much, that you should stay safe. That voice will sound kind, familiar, even logical. Don't fall for it. That's the voice of comfort disguised as wisdom. It doesn't want what's best for you. It just wants to survive. But the truth is, it can't. That version of you has expired. It doesn't fit in the life you're building. And if you try to drag it along, it'll poison everything new you touch. You have to kill it, its doubts, its fears, its patterns, and leave its body behind. It's strange, isn't it? The person you were a year ago would barely recognize you now. And the person you're becoming will look back at this version of you with gratitude and disgust all at once. Gratitude for surviving, disgust for settling. That's how evolution feels. It's messy, uncomfortable, violent even. But it's real. You don't climb out of the pit clean. You crawl out bleeding, gasping, but alive. And that's more beautiful than perfection ever could be. You'll start to see that all those things you thought were curses were actually training. Every betrayal sharpened your instincts. Every failure rewired your discipline. Every heartbreak widened your capacity to feel without breaking. That's what transformation does. It takes the parts of you that were shattered and builds something unbreakable. And when that new version of you finally looks in the mirror, it won't ask for approval. It'll just smile, quietly, dangerously, knowing it survived what was designed to destroy it. You know what's funny? People think separation is punishment. They think when someone leaves their life, family, friend, lover, it's tragedy. But sometimes it's not loss, it's alignment. Sometimes the universe rips people away not to hurt you, but to protect you. You just don't see it yet, because you're too attached to the version of them you made up in your head. You love the idea of them, not who they really were. And when that illusion finally cracks, it hurts like hell. Because you weren't just losing a person. You were losing a piece of the story you built to keep yourself sane. See, there's a difference between connection and attachment. Connection is natural. It flows, it grows. Attachment is desperate. It clings, it fears, it suffocates. And most people can't tell the difference. That's why when someone walks away, they fall apart. They weren't in love. They were addicted. Addicted to attention, to comfort, to the illusion of belonging. But when life separates you, it's trying to detox your soul. It's trying to free you from what's been slowly poisoning your peace. It doesn't always feel like a gift, but that's exactly what it is. Sometimes the people you call family are the first ones to doubt you. They smile at your success only when it stays smaller than theirs. They talk about support, but behind closed doors, they whisper. They tell you to dream small, play safe, stay humble, because your rise threatens their stillness. They want you to shine, but not too bright. Just enough to keep them comfortable. And when life starts moving you away from them, you'll try to fight it. You'll cling to loyalty, to blood, to guilt. You'll say, "They're my family." But what if the bond that's breaking is the one that's been holding you back? You'll feel it when the distance starts to grow. The calls slow down, the conversations dry up, the energy shifts. You'll think it's your fault. You'll overthink, replay, apologize for things you didn't do. But deep down, you'll sense it. It's not hate, it's separation. Life is moving you to a new frequency, one they can't hear, and that silence you're feeling. That's not rejection. That's elevation. The air gets thinner the higher you go, and not everyone's lungs can handle it. People will call you cold when you stop explaining yourself. They'll say you've changed when you finally set boundaries. They'll paint you as selfish for choosing peace over guilt. That's because they benefited from your silence, from your people pleasing, from your need to keep everyone happy while you slowly drowned. But the moment you stop feeding them your energy, they'll call you the villain. That's fine. Every hero's story starts that way. The difference is, this time, you don't defend yourself, you evolve. You start to realize that not every goodbye needs closure. Some people don't deserve a final conversation. Some stories don't deserve an ending scene. Sometimes the curtain just falls, and you walk off the stage without looking back. Because the same people who once clapped for you were the ones waiting for you to trip. They loved you for your potential, not your progress. And the moment you became real, imperfect, unapologetic, honest, they couldn't handle it. That's when the separation begins, quiet at first, then sudden. Like a whisper turning into a thunderclap. You'll be tempted to chase them, to fix it, to prove you're still good enough. But that's the trap. You can't heal in the same room that made you sick. You can't grow roots in soil that resents your bloom. Every time you return to what broke you, You teach the wound how to open itself again. So you have to let go, even if your hands are shaking, even if your heart's screaming. Because sometimes peace only arrives after destruction. You'll start noticing the space that opens up when they're gone. It'll feel empty at first, like a missing limb, but slowly, that emptiness becomes room. Room for clarity, room for purpose, room for new energy. You'll start breathing again. You'll laugh and realize it's been months since you truly laughed. You'll wake up and realize you're not waiting for anyone to understand you anymore. That's freedom disguised as loneliness. That's transformation in its purest form. And the irony is, once you stop chasing the people who left, you start attracting the ones meant for your future. The ones who don't need explanations. The ones who don't drain you just to feel alive. The ones who match your fire, not fear it. That's when you understand why life had to separate you in the first place. Because you can't walk into your destiny carrying people who were never built to go that far. One day, you'll look back at the faces that vanished and feel nothing but peace. You'll realize they weren't villains. They were mirrors. They showed you where you still needed healing. They taught you how to love without losing yourself. They broke you just enough for you to finally meet the version of you that doesn't beg to be seen. That's the power of separation. It doesn't destroy you. It reveals you. You ever notice how pain speaks in a language louder than words? You try to ignore it, bury it, dress it up with smiles and fake laughter, but it always finds its way back to you. It whispers when you're alone, screams when you're silent. And the funny part, that's not punishment. That's confirmation. The universe doesn't waste pain on the wrong person. It only sharpens the ones chosen for something heavier. Pain isn't there to stop you. It's there to wake you up. When you're too comfortable, you don't grow. You settle. You stagnate. You rot slowly with a polite smile on your face. But when everything starts